Hello, everyone. Today we'll be talking about NBC University's PhD Milestone Management System. Let's talk about the personas. First, we have Jane Doe. She's a PhD candidate at ABC University. She's currently in her third year and she's researching AI applications in cybersecurity. She's doing a full on-campus research and she's funded by ABC University Scholarship. Currently, she has milestone 1 and 2 completed, but so she is currently going forward to the milestone 3, and it's a very stressful phase for her. And her goals as a PhD student, of course, she wants to complete her PhD on time while keeping her scholarship intact. She also wants to minimize administrative burden so she could focus more on the research itself. And the third one is that she could track milestone progress in a glance. In doing so, she has some pain points, including milestone information are scattered, scheduling panel availability is entirely manual, we have no meeting link generation, and we have no confirmation that panel has read her submitted report. And as you can see here, basically all communication, scheduling, reminders, everything is done via email, manually via Doodle polls. Deadline tracking is basically done manually to her personal notes. And document submission is basically done entirely from one central web portal. And she does a supervisor sync weekly, and she has a very limited panel stability. And her scenario is basically she's currently 8 weeks away from her milestone shape final review. She received an automated email from GRO and begins coordinating the meeting while preparing the reports and presentation. There are 6 steps that she goes through. The first one is when she receives the reminder, she adds it directly to her calendar. Then she finds availability for all the panel. Then she goes to send them to the poll to provide which schedule do they actually prefer. Then she has to go through a reschedule round once the panel mentions that, oh, I'm on leave and it's not available in their schedule. She has to go through this reschedule round. The next one is basically she has to submit all her documents and reports before the preparations. She has to manually ensure that all meeting invitations are sent. And the final one is basically the meeting held. And here, the challenges are basically she has no shared panel availability. There is no way a panelist unlisted leave can be detected early and can only be detected late, which causes the reschedule loop. Responses to proposed meeting schedules take days to receive with no direct notification system. And also, online meeting invitations need to be sent and controlled manually. Well, in the end, she completed her milestone. However, it went through a lot of her personal diligence, and she had to go through a lot of manual rescheduling, as well as delays from delayed responses due to the lack of notification systems. So let's take a look into the supervisor's perspective. Dr. Sarah Rowe is a new academic. She just joined ABC University 3 years ago. She's a lecturer and PhD supervisor. She has 2 students. One is main and one is a co-supervision. Her main teaching methods on campus, and she does weekly one-on-ones. She's basically focusing on, guiding her PhD students to complete their PhD on time. She spends most supervision time on research discussion, and she also wants to identify suitable panel members because currently she's doing everything manually. So for the pain points, finding panel members usually is very tedious for her. Scheduling is all manual, just like previous. Notifications are sent without a direct notification, so it's just direct emails. And email reminders are easy to forget. And basically, the tools that she's using is basically the same thing with Jane. So communication, scheduling, panel finding, everything is done manually through Google Chats and emails. Document review emails, reminders also done from email. Outcome trackings are also checked manually. So everything is manual for Sarah, Dr. Sarah. So in her scenario, she received an automated email from GRO and notifying that her students' progress review is coming. Well, she has a full teaching research load and she's responsible for guiding the preparation and everything until the D-Day after the outcome check. So the step she's taking is reminder received. She has to go through the panel members manually. She has to schedule everything manually. Then she has to do the document review manually again. The meeting attended. Then after that, she has to go through an outcome check. So the challenge is that everything is done manually, basically. Panel members are need to be done manually. Annual leaves are not reflected. That most of the cases to be done, and there's no direct notifications, and of course, there are late responses. And the outcome is that, well, the milestone was completed successfully. Panel was found, the staging conflicts was resolved. However, there were setbacks due to delayed responses, and email reminders are also easy to overlook with no direct notifications in place. So, what about from the GRO's perspective? From the GRO's perspective, we have Alex Johnson. He handles hundreds of PhD students across all faculties. He does the scheduling, notifications, records, outcomes, and his tools are mostly email, spreadsheet, partial record system. And this is a synthesized persona. So he basically oversees the entire thing from meeting schedules, selecting and inviting eligible panel members, coordinating logistics, as well as recording the outcomes. And the process relies heavily on manual coordinating everything. And as a GRO, his goal is basically to ensure that all PhD students complete all milestones, all the panel are spread their workload fairly, 12 milestone per year, reduce manual coordination. And the pain points is that everything is manual again, no automated tracking. She has to select the eligible panels by manually. Panel invitation are also tracked manually. So again, most of the tools here are basically email. So communication, scheduling, panel finding, everything is email and manual. Just like Jane and just like Sarah as well. Logistics, he has to do it manually as well. So in his scenario, he handles a lot of students, right? One semester in a peak, he opens a spreadsheet, he checks that there's a lot of things, there are lots of scheduling queries, final confirmation follow-ups, document submissions, with overdue response. So what he does, basically, he checks the cohort manually, he sends reminders, he does manual panel selection, he resolves conflict, he does admin logistics and post-meeting. And as mentioned earlier, the challenge that we face are basically all milestones are tracked manually. There's no visibility on whether actions were executed. The panel selection has to go through cross-checking manually, and scheduling conflicts will resolve manually. So milestones are completed in the end, but again, at peak periods with multiple students, with a lot of different processes that needs to be done manually, it takes a lot of effort and too much effort, in fact, for Alex. So basically, we take all those spend points and create these functional requirements. The first one, if we have the centralized milestone traceability, which consolidates milestone dashboard, progress monitoring, basically providing traceability to the users. We have automated scheduling. So now all the scheduling are shared across the panel. We have a proposal, we have calendar synchronization, so everything is now automatic. Intelligent panel matching. So basically, panel recommendations are basically given in for the GRO and as well as the supervisor. So no more manual work. Document submission. So basically, Jane could see when his document is spread, received, and what's the next action item. We also have multiple channel notification system to provide everyone with direct notifications to prevent email from stacking up. And this encompasses of in-app dashboards, self-written polls, push notifications, email digest, direct email, persistent in-app model. And so these basically address Dr. Sarah, Jane, and Alex's problems. Other than that, we also have meeting logistics and virtual coordination for the GRO. We have outcome recording and reconvening, basically for people with unsatisfactory results. And at last, we also have an at-risk intervention.
For non-functional requirement, for usability requirement, it must present milestone information in single dashboard view, which provide a mobile responsive interface and use clear visual indicator for milestone status, as well as provide in-context guidance for first-time user and consolidate pending action for user with multiple roles in single unified view. As for reliability, the milestone must therefore reminder reliably, maintain accurate panel load counts, as well as preserve document version history, maintain audit trail for all master action, and allow master meeting to proceed without administrative blockage. As for performance, panel availability must shown in real time, process document upload without any interruption, update milestone status in real time, and generate notification upon event being triggered. And for supportability, the actors must be able to configure notification on their own, and the graduate research service manager must be able to configure panel eligibility rules on their own. It also provides a clear error message and recovery guidance, as well as support the addition of new academic staff to the pool. And for confidentiality and security, it must restrict master document related stakeholder to ensure confidentiality, display calendar availability without private user information, protect panel feedback from unauthorized viewing, and authenticate all users before granting access to milestone data, as well as ensure scholarship funding status is only for informational display. Thank you. Use case diagram. So upon receiving the milestone reminder notification, the system will automatically generate calendar hold and sync the calendar hold, then send an email notification to both the student and the supervisor. So the student will be prompted to submit the milestone meeting schedule, which then they will need to access the milestone dashboard to check the panel availability and enter the at least 3 meeting time slot based on the date range of the panel availability that they want to choose. Once they submit this panel availability draft to the system will send an email notification to the PhD supervisor, and the supervisor will be required to confirm the availability. If let's say the number of panel members are less than three, the supervisor can escalate this issue to the graduate research service team to update the panel member availability list manually, which will then trigger the auto select panel members upon update completion. After the supervisor confirm the schedule availability, this will send a notification to all of the actors, including the panel member. The panel member, upon receiving the formal email request, they will confirm the panel availability, which will then send a notification to all of the actors, and upon receiving the meeting confirmation notification, the system will automatically generate a meeting link and sync the calendar to remove an unused calendar hold. Then it will send an email notification to all of the actors. So before the meeting start, the student must submit a master document, and it can also track the document engagement. The supervisor and the panel member will review the student document, then enter a pre-meeting comment. So after the meetings end, the panelists will enter meeting feedback and vote on the result of the meeting. Yes. And this will be tracked by the system automatically and generate the workload report on the student progress based on the meeting result. The admin can then record the milestone outcome and intervene if the student is not passing the milestone, which then allow them to trigger a reconvening workflow to the next meeting schedule.
This is service blueprint for our milestone management system. I'll walk through each phase from left to right. In phase 1, initiation and awareness, the system proactively notifies the student through push notification and email digest that their milestone meeting are upcoming. First, the student can log in into the dashboard and view it, and then they will be able to see the overview of the upcoming milestone meeting. In this space, the student can also find panels by inputting keywords and request a recommendation through the search field, filter text, and pressing a primary action button, which the system will aggregate session data with a student's faculty data that fetch the faculty database through the panel recommendation system. And in this phase, the student will also be able to see the scholarship funding overlay for their scholarship funding details. In the next phase, the scheduling and panel coordination, the student can see a updated consolidated grid, which is the date view, calendar view, and they can choose 3 meeting time slots and select 3 to 4 potential available panelists as a draft list. Then, after they choose those 2 things, the system will lock as proposed and opens access permission for designated supervisor. When the supervisor log into the dashboard, supervisor could open the draft, review or modify the draft, and when they confirm it, the system will send a notification to both the panelists and the student, and also the GRS team, that there is a upcoming invitation for the panel confirmation. Now, in the formal confirmation, the panel members can read email and respond. The supervisor and panel members will also receive their links and access links on the emails. When they both approve the invitation, then the system will lock winning slot, delete tentative holds, sync calendar, and generate meeting link with credentials. This is done through the external video API, which is the Zoom meeting. Next, on the document submission review meeting logistics, the student uploads reports and slides, which the system will tell the progress of the uploads and updates the states of the uploaded documents into under review. The supervisor and panel members then can open the document into using the document review page, and they both can review, annotate, and comment on the report. When confirming the review, the system will save the comments and annotation inputs to the database. JRS admin can also log in into it and checks off the completed room booking or logistic verification tasks, and the system will mark the logistical prerequisite as complete. This will also trigger a meeting invitation link send through the notification system. After doing the milestone meeting review, the panel members could log into the meeting session, input their scores, and submit the unified recommendation. The system then will aggregate the individual assessor votes, calculates the consensus outcome, whether it is satisfactory and unsatisfactory. Then it will also send a notification to the student that their meeting result has come out. Then the students could log in to find their official verified milestone outcome. That's all for the service blueprint. Thank you.